And as you're setting up, Beverly, I thought I might mention that for you and the board, this is the very first and inaugural opportunity for everyone to see our brand new clock. So, I don't know if the chair can peek at it, I can't, but so it's, so Nellie can't see it from there, so you gotta be a little taller, but no, so yeah, so we may have to slide it over so the chair can see it, but
The speaker. Yeah.
so, as a general rule, 15 minutes for a special presentation max. Hmm? Big and bright. Thanks so much.
Is it mic on?
Just a second, is the microphone working?
What do you call?
There we go.
We have a 50-year, what is that called? When we rent the property? Lease, up, and do you know that? Anyway, I'm just reminding you, I'm not going to talk about it. That's coming up next year. Well, we are all volunteers at the garden and one part-time paid gardener. And we're just grateful for the support that we receive from you people, because it enables us to keep that garden in top notch and keep it going and everything like that. So we're real grateful to all of you for what you do for us. The brick pavers on the right were used in the main garden entrance. And they're the kind that allow rain to go through between every brick. There's a space between every brick. You imagine what a job that was. And so the water flows through them when it rains. And plus, I think they look really great too. They built a 50-foot trench around the property. And I came to see this, to take these pictures, and I saw those guys digging by hand, and I thought, wow, isn't that something? 50 feet from the old entrance in our Botanic Garden all the way over to the nursery. Well, I walked a little further and there was a big truck and a motorized digger, so they weren't doing it all by hand, but it was still quite a big job. And those trenches go, like I said, from one part of the property to another, and it allows us to plant more trees and plants up above. These are the plants that are already growing in that area, the Machilaha Poppies. And of course, they're beautiful, and a lot of people can't grow them, so they like to come and see ours at the Botanic Garden. But there'll be other plants along there too, but that will be one of the main ones. And we put a few water spouts, extra tubes or whatever, in the trail of trees. We have planted 72 trees there about in 2005, I guess it was. And so they're doing well. This is an older picture. They're really quite a bit bigger than that. And almost all of them are dedicated to some person. Another thing on one of our that we got from you are handrails. And we haven't done these yet, but they're going to happen, I hope, in the next week or so, or month rather. So they'll each get a row of handrails on one side of the two lower steps. And then the kind of goofy one up in the top right doesn't have a stairs, but it has a very, what I call kind of a steep step to take. And so we'll have a handrail sort of where that line is, only it's not exactly there. So I think that will help. If we do those three, that leads us from our new entrance all the way to our main entrance, and they can walk all through the garden without going up steps if they know how to do it, because you can do that too. And of course, we have people that bring crutches and different things that they need more straight underneath them. And this is one of our newer plants, well, several years, but it keeps growing every year. And it's the Chilean Garden. Now we have 5 of the Mediterranean climate gardens. That's the 5th one. And that plant that you see that goes all around the square is a Calendridia. And on the right, it shows the pretty long tasseled flowers that are on there when it blooms. Okay, now I'd like to take you into the kids' garden, which is one of our popular things that we have in the garden. And this bronze plaque is dedicated to Marianne Lucas, who, let's see, about 21 years ago, saw that spot where you were storing your sand and gravel and thought that would be a kids' adventure garden. So with that, she went out, and in the top left corner, there's an old mobile home, and somebody gave that to her. And you can see where that is. That's where the garden, that's where the kids' garden is now. And the forward part of it is the parking lot, if you can make your judgment of where that is. So from that, you see the two bottom ones are what she did. We eventually got the beautiful gate. And on the other one is a view from the street. And of course, that tree house is about as popular as you can imagine with the children. And that was one of the things that we had worked on for a whole week with a bunch of guys this last couple of months ago, because a lot of the wood in the supports had rotted after 20 years, and it was not quite safe, people thought. So we went ahead and hired people to do that, and they did a terrific job. So that's what you can come and see when you come to the kids' garden. And all this is almost 100% purchased by Marianne Lucas. So you can understand, I want you to understand why we're so favorable to her. And she's no longer with us, unfortunately, but we have two dinosaur in plants. What do we call it? I can't think of that now.
Topiary.
Topiaries. And then she has the metal giraffe and the smaller giraffe. There's an envelope, other things. The little girl at the bottom in the gray thing, that's a pirate's cage. They can go in there. It's a pirate's cage. So different things that kids can do. And there's a lot of beauty with the greenery that's been growing all these years. And a lot of the plants, not all, but a lot of them are labeled too. Now that's one of my favorite kind of people that I like to see there. I can hardly get away from grabbing them, but I don't do that. And then of course we have, let's see, what is it called? Curious George in that band around the tube there. And they come up and go up and take it off and hug it and kiss it. But they never miss it, those little like 1.5-year-olds or whatever they are. So, you know, it's worth it just to go there to see this, I think. This pond habitat was just made and put in I would say 5 or 6 months ago. So it's brand new. And the person who's in charge of it is really particular. He doesn't want anybody to touch the water because he's making it a certain degree of whatever the degree is. I don't understand it. I don't go for that, but I mean, I go for it, but I don't know it. But we don't want them to stand on the bricks and so forth. We don't want them to dip the little cups into the water. So, but it's a very interesting thing for all people, adults and kids both. They love to look at that. So you might wonder who does all the work there. Well, these are some of the people that do that. And it happens that everybody on this view here are master gardeners. You probably all know what that is. But two of these and 2 others made a new salvia garden. They designed it with the help of one of our volunteers, and they built it, and it's really very pretty. So they worked hard. And then 2 of the ones that were in that offer stuck, and they work in the garden. So all the people, like I say, except the little guy in the green, I couldn't figure that. I thought for a long time, I felt really sorry for him because of his legs. And then I put it on the computer and enlarged it, and I thought, oh, those are flower pots on his leg. Did you see him in the green? Maybe you can't see that from here. Anyway, something extra. And what they do, they can work standing up and sweeping off the trash for the paths, or they can take barrels of the ones that don't want any nor the weeds, they can haul it away. And they can get right down on their knees. So they're very flexible about doing the work, and they can do just about anything. And I must say, we have wonderful people. And, you know, we've got like a retired doctor and a retired nurse, and well, all the people that really enjoy what we're doing and take a real interest in it. You get to see that twice because it got mixed up. But I think maybe you should see it twice because that's a lot of work to sweep all those paths. Every year we have a party. This year in 21, we had to have it out by the nursery because we couldn't have a party or anything special because of the problems that we were having. So there are the two that received it this year. Both probably have volunteered there possibly 12 to 15 years, come maybe almost once a week. Now, again, we're happy for you for the open house grant. And one of the things that was done, this green that you see on the left, is a map that I mentioned the 50 years ago about Mary Ann Lucas with the kids garden. And I don't know that she made that map. I think she did, but it was lost and we found it. And so it was reinvented by different parts of it, you know, so it was quite a job. I didn't work on it, but they say it was quite a lot of work to make those changes. But anyway, they did, and it happened. So our open house then will be on October 23rd, 11 to 3 p.m. And this is the bulletin that has been made to show people where we are and when we are. And if you go look for the flags, we have those in our storage lock, so we can show you where the entrances are, which aren't exactly these, but the flags are. And now I'm going to take you to the top of the hill, from which you can see almost 360 degrees around if you walk around a little bit. It's a beautiful hill, beautiful flowers. We have one of the volunteers, in fact, he's one of the master gardener that have done a lot of improvement there. So the Cactus Garden is really quite lovely. So that's what I want to show you about the garden. And I thank you for inviting me, and I hope you come and see the garden and enjoy it as much as we do. Thank you.
So we'd like to have some comments. Who would like to start us off? Director Lang.
Thank you, Chair Nichols and Chair Cuthbert was looking down at Doug, and a great presentation. And some people know that I was acquaintance friend of Ray Garcia, who was one of the individuals who started the Botanic Garden years ago. And he would just be amazed at what has been accomplished in the community and all of the volunteers that are now part of it. They really struggled at the beginning, but this is really a great tribute.
Thank you. We invited him to one of our parties, maybe 8 years ago. I don't know how long ago it was.
Yeah,
And he came all dressed up with his wife, and we just enjoyed so much having him there.
yeah.
Thank you.
He's a great one. Thank you.
Oh, but we're not done. We all want to say something. You're gonna do what? Oh, I don't think you're on the clock anymore. I think we
Oh.
can take another few minutes.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. We can always turn it back.
So Director Huffer.
I just want to thank you for your presentation. I am embarrassed to admit that I haven't been to the Botanic Gardens in years and years. When my children were little, went up there fairly regularly, planted a tree up there a long, long time ago. Those little children are now 38 and 41. So I have been back there once or twice, but I'm definitely going to take advantage of your open house, because what you've shown us here is just totally different from what I remember the Botanic
Thank you.
Gardens.
Yeah, please do. Please come.
And I have 3 grandchildren, fortunately live fairly far away, but next time they visit, we're definitely going to take them to the kids portion of the Botanic Garden.
Okay,
Looks
okay.
fascinating. So you said that of course we know what a master gardener is. I don't have a clue.
Oh, well, I'm not a master gardener. It's an organization that's planned by the state, I guess, and they have a building. I haven't been there up in Ventura. And that quite a few people go there and they train people how to know one plant from another and about the soil and everything you can think about gardening. It's a wonderful program.
Huh. Interesting. Well, anyway, thank you very much for the presentation.
Sure,
And I
thank you. You're
definitely
welcome.
will be back there.
I'll look for you.
And Director Holt.
Well, the garden is a wonderful place. I wonder if you could tell me, it's usually open, right? You don't, I mean, we've
The
got.
garden is open sunrise to sunset.
Right, and you can
except
Go
for-
in from the park too.
Yes. Actually, we have 3 entrances now, but it's open a lot, you know, and so, but except for 4th of July and when it rains. And when it rains, it might be closed for 3 or 4 days. We have to get the walking places dry so we don't
Ah.
get mud all over everything.
Okay, well, that's good to know.
So that's kind of about it. So it's open a lot. The kids' garden is only open 4 hours a week, and that's on Sunday. And there's reasons for that. One of them being that we have to have
Staff,
people there
yeah.
because we've got the tree house and other things. So somebody has to be there. So,
Well,
And-
thank you. It was a wonderful presentation. I've loved the place.
yeah, well, thank you. I appreciate that.
And Director Nichols.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Yeah, Beverly, thank you for the presentation. It was nice to chat with you a little bit earlier. I just was wondering, other than just being open, what happens at the open house? Anything particular, or is it just welcoming people in?
Yeah, there is nothing particular. No, it's to bring you in to see what we have and how you can grow plants, California plants that will stay and live without quite so much rain, maybe that type of thing. But no, we aren't, it's not, it's you suit yourself and walk at your own pace and see what you want to see. The kids' garden will be open too. It's kind of a separate unit, you know, but
Mhm.
it's all hooked together.
Very good. Well, yeah, it's been about a year since I've been up there. I'm anxious to get up and take another look, but thank you
Okay.
again for the presentation.
Thank you.
If you don't mind me interrupting, I think Beverly, aren't you guys gonna have some snacks there at the open house also? And some snacks and water cart and some stuff that you've done with the dollars?
Yes, there is a water cart, and I believe water. And I'm not sure what else. I've been real involved, but yet not very involved in it, so. Okay,
So I go to the Adventure Garden quite a bit. When she gave the last presentation, I decided to volunteer as if I don't volunteer enough, but I'm there in the Adventure Garden selling plants. And so my grandkids come to visit me. And my son went there and I wasn't there, but he talked about with his son, my grandson, and he talked about how wonderful it is. And I just want to say that Beverly is there every Sunday, making
Well-
sure that all the volunteers come. She comes at noon to make sure that everything is running. So she's still very dedicated to that Adventure Garden to make sure that everything is going well.
right.
And it is really fabulous to see these families with their young children coming in and the joy that the children are getting from the plants. And they oftentimes will go home with a plant and there's just such enthusiasm. And I know that I remember when we moved here, it was pretty much a hill of dirt, and it's been all of those volunteers. This is one of the things that is very dear to my heart is our community partners and all of the people that come together to volunteer to make our community such a good place. And it's people like Beverly that is a leader and brings them in. I think a leader by default right now, you're ready to pass on the torch sometimes, but she's such a good leader and she's led these people, and it's really a tribute to Beverly, this Botanic
you.
Garden. So
Well, I've
thank you
enjoyed
very
it a
much.
great deal. And speaking of that, thank you for you can come in to me and get a job to work there or volunteer. If you will spend 2 hours once a month you count, because I have a lot of people and we break it down to small units, so nobody's there a lot of the time, so. Thank you.
Well, one reason I ended up in the adventure garden is because I'm really not a master gardener. I don't think there was anything else I can do.
But she's good at selling plants. We have a plant sale up there too on these Sundays when we're there.
And Harvey comes and paints sometimes and sketches. So it's a delightful, wonderful place just to come and sit. I mean, it's really a lovely garden and it's a tribute to our community that we have it. So thank you. And I encourage everybody to go. Of course, it's on the 23rd when I won't be here again. I have.
Well, it turns out
I
I'm
know,
not
but
going to
just
be here
saying,
either.
All of
So,
these events are happening on the 23rd. I'm going to miss the water cart and
yeah. Okay.
so,
Well,
anyway,
they'll,
thank
they'll
you.
do a good job. I have to miss it too. So
oh,
I'm
okay.
with you.
That
Okay.
makes me feel a little better.